Last night was a very momentous day for West Lafayette and the greater Lafayette area. I am, of course, talking about the rezoning approval for the SK Hynix construction project for AI chips here in West Lafayette. And if you've been following along, or if you haven't rather, this is tied to the CHIPS Act. Purdue University, the state of Indiana, has been working towards bringing major high-tech manufacturing to Indiana over the last few years, and they had managed to lure a South Korean chip manufacturer, SK Hynix, to West Lafayette, and specifically to the Purdue Research Park. And what had happened is Purdue Research Foundation, and this is the nonprofit private arm of Purdue University, owns land just north of campus in West Lafayette that is referred to as the Purdue Research Park, and they've owned this land for a very long time. And they had identified a parcel for SK Hynix to locate on. But through the development process, they determined that a second site, which was immediately adjacent to the site, would be the preferable location. And so they needed to go before the Area Plan Commission and therefore the West Lafayette City Council to get this second parcel rezoned from residential, as it has currently stood for decades, to I-3 heavy industry. And this project had been cooking along for about a year without a whole lot of noise in the background, with a whole lot of input or knowledge from the community other than it was happening. And suddenly this request to rezone brought a bunch of concerns to the forefront of our community. And it's been an ongoing debate for about the last 7 weeks or so about the appropriateness of this industrial facility in the West Lafayette community, much less in Site B versus Site A. But the West Lafayette City Council held their monthly meeting last night, and on the agenda was the approval of this rezoning of Site B. The Area Plan Commission, which is a commission consisting of representatives from cities and other stakeholders here in the county, had given a recommendation of no to this rezoning request, but the City Council is not bound to that decision. It is indeed a recommendation. And after almost 7 hours of meeting, of public comment from citizens, both for and against, the City Council finally took a vote, and the final vote was 6 in favor and 3 against. So the long story short is SK Hynix and Purdue Research Foundation will be able to move ahead with developing this new chips fab plant into their preferred location. A couple of takeaways that I have from this, and one, this is a demonstration of what is right with our community. There were passionate pleas from both sides of the issue, and both sides were respectful of each other. At no point in the 7 hours of comments, and I stayed up for all of them, was anybody personal, was anybody direct in attacking somebody else. This was all about the issues, and it was really refreshing to see community working the way that community should. We can agree that we don't agree, and that this might be really good for the community or really bad for the community. But the takeaway for me was that our community is the capital C community. Well done, West Lafayette. Now, as I said, I did stay up and watch all 7 hours. The meeting finally wrapped up after 2 a.m. I was pretty tired this morning when I got up after watching the results of that meeting. What is this going to mean long term? Yesterday was a big day in many ways. One of the concerns that citizens have is the location of the site. And let's just take a moment and look at the location. So here it is, this centered location here, the proposed site for SK Hynix here in the middle. This is the site that they did indeed wind up approving. The original site that they had been considering was over here on the left, the purple area. And the concern that the citizens raised for Site B was that it was too close to neighborhoods. But I've just got to take a step back, and part of the debate was neighborhoods. There are neighborhoods down here to the bottom, to the south, neighborhoods here to the east and southeast. But look at the original site, immediately abutting. So the crux of the debate came down to, is this a yes-no question? And the fact of the matter is, for better or worse, the question before the city council was not, should SK Hynix come to our community? The question in front of the city council was simply, should site be rezoned from residential to I3? The question that we wanted answered, and the answers, and we seemed to get an answer on that, was if Site B was declined, would SK Hynix and PRF continue to develop Site A? Would they take their toys home, is another way of putting that. And the answer that we seemed to be getting was that they would probably continue with Site A. So this wasn't going to be rebuffing SK Hynix. Now, again, you don't know what could have happened. If we had said no, would we have poisoned the well, as it were? Would SK Hynix and PRF had felt that they were not welcome in the community? We don't know. But the councilors had a decision in front of them, and that was rezone or not SK Hynix or not. So they decided to go ahead, 6 of the council members decided to go ahead and vote yes to this $4 billion investment in our local community. These are some artist renderings of what the plant might look like when it is completed. And this is an aerial rendering of what it might look like when it is completed. It would help if I showed you. This is the artist rendering of what it looks like what it might look like when it's completed. And then this is the aerial view of what it might look like when completed. Part of the discussion, though, was there are some other major news that happened yesterday, and that is that there is a major new development that was approved by the Tippecanoe County Commissioners. The Tippecanoe County Commissioners are the executive body for Tippecanoe County, so think equivalent to mayor or president, as opposed to legislature or courts. And that is the Estridge Homes development just north of the site. And one of the points that was raised in feedback was that people were buying homes, wouldn't want to build homes here, and that this would set up this community for failure. But the point, I think, was missed the target. This development is coming because of SK Hynix and the 1,000 jobs that Hynix is talking about bringing to the area. And even if they don't bring the full 1,000 jobs, it will be more newer, theoretically higher paying jobs. And our home inventory here in the greater Lafayette area has been anemic for years. So regardless of development, these were badly needed. But let's look a little bit about where this development is going to go. So here's a map, and I've got 3 boxes here. Box A, Site A, the Hynix location in red. Box B in green, this is Site B that was approved last night. The 3 purple boxes up here are the rough bounds of the new Estridge Homes development, which is going to be 700 single-family homes, north of 700, and more than 400 multifamily, think townhouses, condos, that sort of thing. That is a lot of houses. And this is a big deal for a lot of reasons. Some of the things that were talked about last night at the meeting included the Wabash Township trustee talking about building walkable neighborhoods. And there's no doubt about that. If you've watched any of the content on the channel, you know how much I talk about we're not transit focused. We are a car-focused society. For better or worse or better. I love my car. I'm not complaining. It's just a statement of fact. No doubt about that. But look, Estridge Homes borders Site B, and that is by design. That is to reduce the commute times for the people that are going to come and work there. This is massive development in every way, shape, and form. We have new high-tech business, yes, industry, coming to West Lafayette. We have major development from an out-of-town developer, which there's a lot of positives and some negatives that come along with that, but a major company coming from out of town that sees the opportunity to make some money here in the greater Lafayette area. And that means that our economy is doing well. That's 2 big things related to each other. And this is just a little bit of a artist drawing of plan of what that community will look like. And this community, I'm rather fond of the idea. They've got amenities, they've got sports fields and wetlands, lots of green spaces, pools. They're going to have a clubhouse. There's going to be an amphitheater. It's going to be pretty fantastic, I think, when it is done. So what do you think about all this development? It's happening. So in some ways, it doesn't matter what we think. Of course, it matters. Yes, it does very much. But are you for it? Are you looking forward to it? Are you against it? How against it are you? Is it enough to make you sell your home and move elsewhere? Is it enough to make you double down and express how much you love the area already? I don't think there's a right or wrong answer to this. This is a major development. This is a lot new. This is a lot to take in. But I wanted to give you that update here on the Lafayette Reel. If you haven't yet, hit the like and subscribe button. Make sure you don't miss a minute of all of the content that we have here on the channel.